You know, we've all heard the old saying, you got to crawl before you walk, and it's kind of like one of those things when it comes to real estate. Oftentimes, it's not a get rich quick. It takes a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of perseverance, if you will. Most importantly, discipline to dig and find. Most of the time, you'll look at 100 properties to make 10 offers to buy one. The goal is to make a profit. Your first property that you may buy and flip, if you're looking to flip it, you may not make a whole lot of money, but the experience that you learn will last you a lifetime. Now, it's a little bit different if you're buying a foreclosure to live in it. If you're buying it to live in it, it works out really good. You can make profit pretty quick, 6 to 8 months to a year. But if you're looking to buy and flip and you've never flipped a property before, don't try to kill it. Don't try to make a home run. The experience that you have, the wisdom that you gain will carry you over for a lifetime where you can make millions and millions of dollars flipping houses just like this one. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, Wayne, you're crazy. If I'm going to spend money, I'm going to work, I'm going to put all that time and effort and money in, I want to make a profit. And you're exactly right. You want to make a profit. It's a must to make a profit. Otherwise, why spend your time? It's an old thing like money. Try to live without it. It's like oxygen, right? So let's take a look at this house. I'll show you what you can do to make money off something just like this. So look, the first thing that I always tell people, and listen, my name's Wayne Turner. I've been a real estate broker and brokering real estate for nearly 30 years. I've sold thousands of properties, so I'm only sharing with you my experience and what I've done selling all these properties. If you have an agent working for you and they are afraid or concerned when it comes to making an offer on a property, then perhaps you need to find another agent. Because me personally, I put myself in the buyer's shoes and I'm thinking, you don't know what the seller's willing to take. It doesn't matter if it's a bank, it doesn't matter if it's new construction, it doesn't matter if it's an individual property. And I always want to find out why the seller's moving. What's their motivation to move? It's a beautiful house. Why are they getting rid of that house? For the sake of this home, it's a foreclosure, which is different in this scenario on this house because there's so much that has been done to this home where it needs floor. This house has been painted. It's got a new roof, central heat and air, water heater, windows, like it's absolutely in pristine condition for foreclosure with the exception of a couple of things, and I'll show you. So yeah, it's missing a kitchen, right? You got to put a kitchen in there. That's costly. That can be crazy expensive. But this house sold 4 years ago for $350,000. It's a beautiful home. It's 3,340 square feet. That's living area. Plus it's got a garage, covered front porch. It's got some nice features, and I'll show you here in just a second. This house, everything's been done. You need kitchens and baths and that sort of thing, right? So it's probably going to need about $100,000 to $125,000. Now, I don't know what the bank's willing to take because they haven't went active with this property. But this house, just like a lot of others, are all around the country at findmyforeclosure.com. That's why I tell people, if you want to get ahead of real estate agents, real estate brokerages, you want to get ahead of the game, go to findmyforeclosure.com. It is a paid site. It's like 40 bucks a month. But what's really cool about that site is you can actually put your information in and the criteria that you want in your city, your town, your state, whatever it may be, and you'll get an email update with the most recent properties as they get listed on that site for sale. So you can make offers sooner, better than later when it comes to meeting or competing with other people wanting to buy it just like yourself. Now, you can find these foreclosures all day long, right, at findmyforeclosure.com, but the deal is you got to have money because you can't get an FHA loan, you can't get conventional loans. It just kind of makes it hard. But what you can do is you can do what they call hard money loans, hard money lending. You can do local financial companies in your hometown. You can do credit unions. Now, keep in mind, most of these entities are going to require that you have skin in the game. You're going to have some money. They're going to only loan you 75 or 80% of the appraised value. They're going to want to have it appraised. You have to pay for that. It runs around $400. So they're not over lending and you're not overspending, if you will, when it comes to buying a foreclosure. But here's how you get around that after you borrow the money. So you borrow the money, you make the improvements. Then you can go to a traditional mortgage company, if you will, and tell them, hey, what is the value worth now that it's improved? And they will loan you gladly 90% of the new appraised value. So go with me here. You bought this property for $300,000. You put $100,000 in it. You borrowed the money to do that. You're $400,000 in debt on a property, but now that property is worth $500,000. You with me? So you take $500,000 and they're going to loan you 90% of that. So that more than covers the $400,000 that you owe. You pay off the 4, you start with a new loan of 5, and you actually have a home that's in pristine condition that you know everything about because you just bought it and did the work on it. But look, there are things that you need to look for, and I'll show you something really quick, and it always catches my eye. You can see this house right here, had a big, beautiful oak tree. That's a stump from an oak tree, and I'm sure this oak tree was absolutely beautiful right here in this backyard at one time. But people have to know, and this is really important, that roots, tree roots will move a foundation. So when you look, this is a prime example. Most of the time you can't see these tree roots, but you can see that's a root, and that's a root. And roots actually crack and move foundations. So oftentimes I tell people, when you're walking around a house, you're looking around a house, actually this one looks great. It doesn't look like it was ever patched or fixed or anything like that. But oftentimes you'll see where there'll be a crack or step cracks in the brick and the mortar, and that's oftentimes where a tree has been close to or adjacent to the house. So look, more of the story is this: don't plant trees even though they're this tall 5, 10, 15 feet from your house. You want to plant a tree that's going to get 20 feet tall, get that sucker at least 20 feet from your house, because those roots, they're looking for moisture and they're looking for water, and they will move your house to find it. One thing that's really important that I think everybody needs to know is you don't find the house and then get the money. Listen to me, you don't find the house and get the money. And so oftentimes I've had lenders say, well, what's the house? It doesn't matter. Can they get a loan? Can you get a loan? Can a buyer get a loan for the property? Meaning that it doesn't matter if a house has clear title, appraisal, or anything. What matters most is based on the person's income, debt to income ratio, their credit score, how long they've been on their job, do they owe taxes, back taxes, do they have any late pays, foreclosures? Bottom line is, are they approved? Because there's a difference between being qualified and being approved. Approved is when you've had verification of income, credit check, tax check, everything checks out, you're good to go. At that point, you're like a cash buyer, and I can't emphasize enough. It doesn't matter if you're buying new construction, pre-existing house, foreclosures, get with a local lender. If you want to do that, you can go to contactwayne.com. By doing so, you can actually fill out a form that says, I want to be approved for a loan, and we can have someone reach out to you and actually approve you for the loan. That way, you're ahead of the game. I'll give you a quick story. I just sold a house. I had 3 offers on the property. It sold for over list price, but it sold for over list price because that person had their stuff in order and the other 2 did not. And look, by stuff, I mean finances. It's quite simple. I think oftentimes people don't get approved for a mortgage because they don't want to be told no, or they're afraid to hear the negative. You just got to jump in and go, you know what, I'm going to be a little proactive and actually pay for my credit score. I think it's crap, personally, that anybody has to pay for the damn credit score. It's your credit score. It's my credit score. Why in the world would I have to pay for a credit score? But unfortunately, I use a company called myfico.com. They charge you each month, but they do a complete check, verification, they protect your credit, all that stuff, and they give you what the lender looks at, which is a tri-merge credit report. So there's 3 credit bureaus, right? Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And a lender's going to pull all 3 of those. So it just makes sense that you can see what the lender sees before the lender sees it, so you can correct it. But it needs to go a step further, because we have lenders that have this thing called a simulation process, which is crazy cool, that they take your information, your income, your debt, your everything, and then they upload it into the system, and the system tells the lender, tells you what you need to do and corrections you need to make. It'll tell you, hey, don't pay this card off, but pay this off. Hey, don't do this, pay this doctor bill off. It tells you, and it will show you based on what you pay off, what your credit score is going to jump to. And then they do what they call a rapid rescore. So literally, you can see how your credit score can be 550, 560, and you're sitting on $7,000 or $8,000 to basically put down on a house. I'll tell people, oftentimes you may want to have a lender look at it, fill out an application. There's no cost to do that. They will tell you exactly what you need to do to get your credit score jumped to 100 points. And then you can purchase houses like this one or any others. It doesn't necessarily have to be a foreclosure. So look, at the end of the day, the moral of the story is you can find foreclosures, you can buy new construction, you can buy pre-existing homes, you can go to findmyforeclosure.com, you can fill out information to say, hey, I want to be approved for a loan at contactwayne.com. I've been in this business doing this stuff for nearly 30 years. My goal is to help as many people as I can to understand and simplify the process. It doesn't have to be that confusing. Why they don't teach people money, credit, and basic economics in school, I don't know. I didn't get taught either. I had to learn this stuff on my own, and that's why I'm so adamant about sharing it with people like yourself that are willing to watch. Subscribe to the channel. I promise you, you'll learn something from every single video, and give me a thumbs up if you like this one.